Welcome to the beautiful island of Mljet. In this episode we're going to take you on a journey through the history and the heritage of this island. Mljet is relatively small, but you'd be surprised just how much history there is on the island. My name's Mark Thomas. Come and join me on a journey. History, and indeed legends, as this unique cave is the location of one of the most widely recounted legends. Over 3,000 years ago, after a shipwreck, the legendary Greek king of Ithaca, Odysseus, is believed to have spent 7 years in this very cave. The same Odysseus who was immortalised by the poet Homer. Today this impressive cave is a magnet for visitors, and for good reason. The very first inhabitants of the island were the Illyrians some 4,000 years ago. The first historical records of Mljet come from the Greeks, although they didn't settle on the island, rather using it as a shelter before travelling to other colonies. Then came the Roman Empire, and in 167 BC the island came under the control of the largest empire in the world, and clearly remnants of their time on the island are still visible today. The Romans actually constructed the third largest palace on the Adriatic in the village of Polace. Palace, Polace. You see the connection. So history on the island of Mljet isn't all about old buildings and remnants, but also a living history. The folklore ensemble was started in 1968 and has around 40 members. To see the living heritage of the island nurtured and protected is truly impressive. And the younger generations are coming through with children's groups just as active as their more experienced colleagues. These guys are a credit to their island. Why do you think folklore is so important for the island of Mljet?
If we forget the past, we have not nicer future.
An island on an island, and on that island is a Benedictine monastery dating back to the 12th century. The Isle of St Mary is located in the Great Lake in the very heart of the national park. During the centuries, the church changed its appearance under the influence of different styles, the Renaissance and Baroque, but the central part remained Romanesque. In 1198, Pope Innocent III issued a document consecrating the Church of St Mary. Can you tell me something about the history of St Mary?
History is very interesting, history of the island of St Mary. Actually, by recommendation and acceptance of Roman Pope at the beginning of 12th century, all island has been donated to Benedictines. They came from Italy. They chose this place for building monastery in the church. This is one of the most valuable monuments from the Romanesque period in Croatia and the highest priority monument in the state. It was under Benedictine authorities until the Napoleon troops came into Dalmatia.
So the island has the name of St Mary officially, but everybody seems to call it Melita. Why Melita?
The Greek name for the island was Mel. Then you can find different names to the history like Mel, Melissa, Mel. I think I'm not expert for the Greek. I think the Mel is the honey, like honey island. You know, that means
a honey island.
Yeah.
The best part about exploring the varied history of the island is that you'll get to visit some absolutely breathtaking locations, from churches hanging on peaks of hills to secluded hamlets seemingly forgotten by time. Every new site has its story, and every story opens a new window on the rich heritage of this island gem. So we finished our journey around the history and heritage of the magnificent island of Mljet, and we finished in a 19th century olive press used for making olive oils. Of course, in those days this was a very important part of the community, the centre of the community. I hope you've enjoyed our journey around the history and the heritage of this stunning island. Welcome to the beautiful island of Mljet. My name is Mark Thomas, and today I'm going to take you on a journey through the natural beauties of this incredible island. Mljet is one of the greenest islands on the Adriatic, and it even has a national park. Truly stunning. Because of its natural resources, uniqueness of its flora and fauna, geographical phenomenon and rich cultural and historical heritage, in 1960 the western part of the island was proclaimed a national park. It is an island of great diversity and contrast. About 75% of the mainland area of the island is covered with thick green forests, and lush forests of pine encircle the lakes and shores of the Mljet National Park. Even today, this is considered as the greenest and most protected forest on the Adriatic coast. So in the very heart of the national park are two lakes, Big Lake and Small Lake, and they are connected with an outlet channel to the sea. And in the middle of the Big Lake there's another lake, St Mary's Island, meaning that in the national park there is an island on an island. So on the Big Lake there are three solar powered boats that basically form a triangle, ferrying guests around the lakes all day. As I said before, these boats are solar panelled. They are exclusively solar panelled with huge great solar panels on the roof. The idea was launched in 2018. The first boat was on the lakes in 2018. There is also an electric train that runs around the lakes. So this is a great example of showing sustainability and an eco-friendly green approach to this beautiful national park. The lakes within the national park, Small and Great Lake, are both a geographic phenomenon. They are directly connected to the open sea by a narrow channel. And thanks to this recently finished bridge, you can now walk, or indeed cycle, the lakes in a circular walk, and it's a must-do. So this is the only national park inside the Dubrovnik River County. What makes this park so special?
National Park Mljet is one of the oldest national parks in Croatia. It is the oldest marine protected area in the whole Mediterranean Sea. And when they protected it, it was because of its 100 years old alpine forest.
Really?
Yeah.
So these forests behind us are 100 years old at least?
Yes, it is. The national park itself is very beautiful, but we give a lot of effort to keep it that way. So visitors are very important to us, but also the nature is the first one priority.
And the lakes inside the national park aren't the only ones on Mljet. But it isn't only the national park on Mljet that amazes you with its beauty. The whole island is a masterpiece, a work of art. Rich Mediterranean vegetation framed by the turquoise glint of the Adriatic. It is called the Green Island for good reason. Quaint villages tucked away in the pine and oak forests. Hidden beaches that are lapped by the crystal clear Adriatic. The diversity is remarkable. I hope you've enjoyed our journey around the green island of Mljet, with the turquoise Adriatic Sea to the lush, rich forestation, from the national parks to the sandy beaches. Mljet truly is a paradise of nature. Welcome to the beautiful island of Mljet. My name is Mark Thomas, and I'm going to take you on a gastronomic adventure as we open the island's kitchens and wine cellars. This is a journey that will tickle your taste buds and please your palate. The island of Mljet is described as a mystical oasis, and it is certainly an oasis for foodies. So the key to good food on Mljet is obviously locally produced produce, as you can see right in front of us, tomatoes, whether it's seafood, whether it's wine, any kind of vegetables, any kind of fruit, and even olive oil. This is the key. Home-grown, locally produced product. Now, clearly being an island means the culinary scene is dominated by what you can harvest from the crystal clear waters of the Adriatic. If you were looking for a fresh fish and seafood, then you've come to the right place. And now I'm going to pick one of these tomatoes, freshly grown, and we're going to make a special island dish. Come with me. Tradition is the key word here. Tradition and naturally grown produce. The rich soil of the interior of the island lends itself perfectly to cultivating fruit and vegetables, so flavoursome and juicy that you'll be wanting more. And of course, traditions are respected. Patience is the key word, but if you want fresh fish, then patience is a virtue. I remember once being in a small restaurant on Mljet and the waiter asked me if I'd like a salad with my meal. When I said yes, a chef went down into the garden and shouted back to me, "How many tomatoes and cucumbers would you like?" He was literally picking my salad directly from the restaurant's garden. You can't get any fresher than that. But today, with a lot of help from Nika Radul, I'm, or rather she's, going to make a rather special fish stew or fish brodet. You can try this speciality at a few restaurants on the island, so remember the name. And believe it or not, one key ingredient comes from the sea, but it isn't seafood, rather a rock. Yes, a rock that was caught by our fisherman friend on the seabed this morning. A truly special ingredient. So after all this hard work, we're going to try the fruits of our labour. This is a mixture of the sea and the nature in one bowl. Perfect, absolutely perfect. And a good meal must be accompanied by a fine wine. And even though Mljet is relatively small in size, only 37 kilometres long and roughly 3 kilometres wide, there is still space for a few select vineyards, producing both red and white wine. Mljet supplied the Republic of Dubrovnik with a barrel or two. I guess we have the ancient Greek colonists to thank for that. So today we're with Baldo, who's got one of the only, unfortunately, the only family vineyards on the island of Mljet. He makes both red wine and white wine. Not only are you the only vineyard on Mljet, but you're also the last vineyard, or let's say the last vineyard who's looking after these locally grown grapes. Yes. So you're a vineyard as well as being some kind of protector of this Mljet.
Yes. Yes, and that's why we started to produce this and why we started with this story before. It's traditional 100 years here for the family, but
your family's been here for 100 years.
More. Even more. In this place, almost 100 years. They arrived here from Blattop before, from Polia, but traditional producing wine is around 100 years.
Fine wines with a precious history, distinct and homegrown meals. This stunning island is truly a paradise for food lovers. So we're ending our adventure with the gastro, food and wine scene on the island of Mljet. As you can see, there's a gastro event going on behind me where they're handing out awards for the local wines and olive oils. And I've got some nice olive oil, some homemade bread. Bon appetit. Welcome to the island of Mljet. My name's Mark Thomas and I'm going to take you on a journey through the active and sporting options on this incredible island. Whether it's kayaking, biking, hiking or even abseiling. Yes, abseiling. Come with me on a journey. Getting back to nature on the island of Mljet isn't difficult, and if you're a fan of hiking, of walking, there are very well marked trails all over the island. The paths are extremely well marked, and please keep to them as it's very easy to lose your way. However, on Mljet you will lose yourself in the beautiful nature. Climb to the top of mountain peaks, enjoy the views, make a circular walk around the lakes in the national park, or enjoy the peace of a pine forest. Just don't forget to take water and please wear appropriate shoes. So today we're with Lush from ID Adventures, and he's going to tell us why Mljet is a good destination for an active holiday. So why is it a good destination for an active holiday?
I mean, this is a special island for the outdoor adventure. Kayaking, biking, hiking, whatever you want.
And what feedback do you get from your guests? What are they telling you about the island?
They are really thrilled with this color of the sea. It's so clear and clean water, and the locals are really nice to them and to people. Yeah.
You're working in a lovely place.
Yes, I love my office, you know.
Yeah, it's not a bad office.
It's not bad office.
So let's try some kayaking, yeah?
Let's try some kayaking.
The colours of the Adriatic on Mljet are like an explosion of blues, every hue that you can imagine. You can kayak both in the sea and in the lakes. And of course the advantage of jumping into a kayak is that you can get to places normally unreachable by car or even by foot. It's an adventure that you'll never forget. So here I am, abseiling down, I think they said it was a 30-metre high cliff. Best thing, my advice, is not to look down. Just look forward at your feet like you're walking backwards, like Michael Jackson. So most of your guests are international, they come from all over the world.
Yes.
Which countries are the most numerous?
So mostly on this part of the island, mostly are Austrians and Germans. But
Austrians and Germans?
Yeah. But this year, the 80% of our guests were from the US and UK.
So finally, you were born in Dubrovnik.
Yeah.
You lived in Dubrovnik.
Born and raised.
Say again?
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Well done, bravo. In Dubrovnik. But you've lived on Mljet for the last
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So what do you find the difference between living in Dubrovnik and living on Mljet?
I like working here. The summer is very nice. Not so many people like in Dubrovnik. So, and for me, better guests.
Mljet just kind of lends itself to an outdoor way of living. The nature seems to invite you in. Whether you're whizzing along on a bike, swimming in the Adriatic, walking in forests or kayaking, any activity seems better with the background of Mljet. After a hard day of activities and sports on the beautiful island of Mljet, it's time to relax and unwind with a dip in the crystal clear Adriatic Sea. Until next time,